Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Elucid. We're gonna hop back into our game with Disciples of YouTube, where we are embarrassing ourselves before we have even come into contact with the very competent players we're playing against. So, without further ado, let's get into it. It's turn 10, so we're nearing the end of year 1, where if you listen to my national overview, I said we should be getting close to 20 provinces, and we're still counting provinces on our hands. Haven't even started using our toes. So, here we go. Marignan. Wait, this looks a lot like a battle I saw. Oh, but okay, it's a different, his same group, but it's different indies. So okay, he smashes into those. They're all dead. Okay, we see the elves fighting here. I don't know who's initiating this. But this will be tricky, so let's take a look at this. These are elves, so they have glamour. Oh, they're sacred too. They have a rainbow bless. Decay weapons, which can be okay. Basically, it kind of applies poison weapons on old troops, and then on non-old troops, it's another way to kill them for making them get older. Some good resistances. Some defense, reinvigoration, magic resistance, HP, blood surge. Basically, this is a rainbow build. Though a lot of the rainbow is not actually making them better in the early game. Yeah. Because a lot of these things, like magic weapons, this is good in the mid-game. Decay weapons, that's kind of good to ward off super combatant rushes sometimes. And then, and it's kind of okay against Ashdod. But if they went for a quick bless on Ashdod, which they did, then the time it would take for Decay to actually kill one of those things, and that's if it does, because I think they may be old enough and have enough HP that the Decay ticks in and of itself is not going to kill him. You're going to have lost the battle. So the resistances are good in the late mid-game. Defense is good early game. Reinvigoration's okay early game. Mostly this is like a pretty greedy bless, because it doesn't give them... If it gave them like attack damage, which is pretty good versus Olm, and then attack skill and defense, that would be like a more greedy rainbow bless. But this is... Or a less greedy rainbow bless, because it makes them better in the early game. But this is just straight up like bad in the early game. But it's really nice if they make it to late game. So we'll see how it does. But if we look at the stats of these guys, they've got 18 defense, which is pretty good, and then glamour. But these guys, 12 attack, that's a little better than normal, and then they have flails, which attack twice, and they get +2 attack for a shield. So it's going to be 14 attack versus these guys with 18 defense, and they go twice. My money is on this little tiny army from Ulm. Now, if these guys had maybe 2 more defense, the blood surge is nice. If they had 2 more defense, some damage to get through the plate mail, I'd maybe be on their side. But right now, like 14 damage, they're not even if they hit, gonna be able to get through the plate mail. Yeah. There you go. That's basically what we thought would happen. Did they lose anything? Lost a couple, but like these guys cost 35 gold, and they're trading with these guys that cost 10 gold. Woo! Okay, Marignan expanding again, so he is catching up. Oh, he's bumped into Nazca. So let's take a look. Let's let Nazca get all blessed up here. Okay, so he's got his prophet here, I think. And you can see he's giving him weapons. I don't know if these are from... These might be from, he's forged them, or maybe from killing indies, I don't know. But coral weapon's nice. That's going to give him more HP, and then with these 2 weapons, if he gets assassinated, he'll probably survive. Wait, are these guys Holy 3 by default? Yeah, they are. I haven't played Nazca very much, but... Okay. So anyway, they're all blessed, and now they're going to jump in and... Oh wait, we need to see what their bless is. I think this is the first time we've seen their bless. It's shock weapons. which is going to be good. We don't have shock resistance, so this is going to do damage all game. The way this works is you're going to get 1 armor negating damage, which is going to be independent of the weapon itself, and then that will roll one of the DRN dice. So you're basically going to do 1 plus a dice roll, which is going to average out, I think, to around 3. So it's like 4 armor negating damage plus stun. So that's pretty damn good. Then they have fire resistance, which is nice. It's going to be really good against Marignon, because one of the things he can do is make fire elementals, and then also all of this fire spell spam. Later, they can also do mass protection with some safety, and then quickness, because why not? You're combining it with shock weapons, and strength plus 8, that's huge. So, these guys are extremely killy. If we take a look at the Condor Warriors, fortunately they don't have magic weapons, and we have body ethereal, so we will do actually okay against this, because they only have 1 attack. The Condors actually have 2 attacks. They have a talon and a beak. And because of the strength buff, it's very high damage. 20 damage plus shock weapons. So these guys are very, very killy. And with quickness, they're going to do twice as much. So these guys are going to like attack like 4 dudes that do 20 damage. It's going to be a little ridiculous. And then the other nice thing about quickness is it buffs attack and defense. So they get 2 here and 2 here. So anyway, there are ways to counter these. Basically, these guys are pretty expensive. I forget how much they cost, but they're not super cheap. The Condors actually are pretty cheap to summon. I think they're like 1 air gem a piece, but you can buy them in bulk. But the thing they're specifically designed to kill are elite units, which is exactly what my buddy, the Last Pretender, is trying to fight them with. Though it's a bump, we're not actually at war. So, I think we know how this one's going to go. Bloop. Yeah, they killed him in 1 round. That's pretty quick. So that's not what you bring to a fight against Nazca. These guys get absolutely walloped. But fortunately, because we didn't go all in on our Bless, if we went all in on our Bless, then Marignon's basically dependent on using these guys to fight his wars, because if you go in on a Bless and then you don't use your sacred units, you're basically wanting to lose the game. But we have actually pretty good scales, so we can get, and we didn't go crazy on our Bless, we can use our normal troops just fine. And normal troops actually are okay, because their very killy troops are not very well balanced. They die very easily. So if we just bring enough chaff to the fight, we can kill them and then hopefully trade efficiently. Okay, so he expands there. And then we have our own little battle. Okay, and not exactly what we want, because I think maybe we position these guys a little farther forward next time. We want them to be a little closer to engaging these guys before we fight. I think we lost 1 Tiger Rider. Okay. So, we're not getting rushed. Sometimes when you're fighting flyers, they just jump and attack you. And like this guy with this big army, he can just hop over here on top of Marignon's cap, and then we would probably lose the game. But we've been talking with them like, hey, let's kill these guys, so they may leave us alone. I don't know, but I've talked with Marignon. He's going to sit here and patrol his cap. And he's bumped up the PD in his cap higher than it otherwise would be, which is not something you normally want to do, but yeah, we could lose the game right here, so there's no reason not to. And his elites, while they're going to kind of suck fighting these guys alone, if we put his elites in his PD, they'll actually do a pretty good job cleaning up all the birds. So that's basically the plan. Don't lose the game this turn. We're going to patrol here, even though they've said they're going to be peaceful. The better the players are, and these guys are pretty damn good, Nazca and Midklin, the less you should trust them. Because if they see an opportunity to win the game, they may do it, even if it's against kind of what they said. So yeah, we're gonna patrol here just in case. He's gonna continue to expand down this way. This is all just wide open, and I think a lot of it's because the elves are in an early war, so they haven't had time to come up here, which is really good. We get to kind of catch up and hopefully take a lot of this land. Meanwhile, I'm expanding better than before. This Cataphract province, which is like the worst kind of heavy cav, we're gonna try to kill them. We basically got a bunch of shit units up front to eat lance charges, and then these guys in the back to run in and flank. These guys are finally on hold and attack closest, so they'll hit the Cataphracts and not like run behind them. Same thing here. We're gonna run in and attack. We've got. I probably should position these guys a little farther forward. But yeah, we're gonna run in, and then these guys are on hold and attack closest, hold and attack closest. They're gonna get all blessed up, and then hopefully kill all of these tribes. And then we're gonna go ahead and move a guy here. Nazca's probably gonna take this. We'll see. We're super small. It's embarrassing. Okay, so I think that's the end of this turn. We didn't have any events. So this was turn 10. We're gonna go ahead and hop to turn 11. Okay, we had a unit die in our march. Great, we didn't probably need him anyway. So this was the tribe province, that one right next to our cap that we were going to expand into. And again, I probably should position these guys a little farther forward, because I think these knights, these guys are going to make contact first. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered, because these guys are slingers, so they're just going to sit there and shoot anyway. That's probably fine. Okay, I don't think we lost anything there. Oh, we did. Oh, we lost one of our priests? Priests, awesome. How the hell did that happen? I thought I've been positioning my priests pretty far back. Yeah, they're like really far back. Oh, it's that fucking script. I really need an archer. Like, look at these. They're even... What the hell are they doing? God, it's so annoying. I think what I probably need to do... It's one of the things I kind of suck at. I think maybe this... And then maybe just put them on stay behind troops. And then give them, like, one archer. You know, even if I just had... Actually, and I have them, too. If I just give him, like, a little Marcata archer to sit behind, that would probably be better. Yeah. Because this guy, he's undisciplined. He's just going to sit there, and hopefully he doesn't get too close. Yeah. It's probably better. Anyway, so... Did I go through all of them? I don't think so. So that was our first battle. Here's... Well, let's do our second battle. And we'll talk about Marignan. Okay, so this is the second one. This is the Cataphract province, the one right next to my cap, that I haven't attacked for a long time because it scared the shit out of me. Because these guys are pretty tough. 15 protection's pretty high, 15 defense is pretty high. Lance and a broadsword, yeah. They are quite killy. But I think we've successfully eaten their lance charges. And so goes the Cataphracts. And we should get a rout. Oh, they're not routing it. Okay, there they go. Okay, we didn't lose too much. And then let's check out Marignan. Let's see how he's doing expanding. That's a pretty good use of the Burgmeister Guard. They do pretty well because they have pretty high defense against heavy cav. And you do not want those guys running into your knights. With their lances especially. And here he's attacking with... this is kind of like normal Indies, normal Marignan expansion. It looks like these guys are on hold and attack. Not, oh no, he's got 2 paladins? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Great. Lost a bunch of people here. cost of misfortune. Anything else? Locust swarms. Okay, we don't need gold, and we are fine with unrest. Okay, so this fort is going up. We've got 2 months left. That means it's time to move in this guy who can both build a temple and a lab. So he will get cracking. Meanwhile, I think we're going to go ahead and... We're building a palisade here, so that's going to be good. We've got... Not good, I mean acceptable. We've got... a palisade coming up here and here. If we get these up and forted, we'll have enough basic infrastructure to not kind of automatically lose the game. And then we're going to move up here and try to take something. I don't know what. But yeah, the problem, and this I didn't really figure out when I was doing the national overview, is the map move on our guys is freaking horrible. I mean, horrendously horrible. It's like my monkeys have map move 10. How bad map move 10 is that if you're in one province... and you want to move to another province, and you have to go through 2 plains, like, you can never move 2. You can only move 1 ever, only. So even if it's 2 plain provinces, the only time you can move 2 is if there's a road. And cartographic revision doesn't have roads, which is the map we're using, or the map maker we use to make this map. So, and actually, we can probably put this map up, so that if any of you want to play on it, we can do that. If I haven't put it up, ask me in the comments, and I'll put it on my Google Drive and then give you guys a link. Okay, so yeah, anyway, this guy's gonna move up here and then start preaching, and then this army is gonna move behind him more slowly and kind of come over here. Satis has already expanded to take this, great. So we basically have our cap circle. Not very happy about this. It makes me want to go to war with Satis a bit more. Though I don't know if we want to yet. Yeah, we are just horribly small. Horribly small. It's just embarrassing. And, but we gotta be peaceful till we get these up, especially with flyers around. There's nothing worse than having flyers with scouts snipe your forts down. So, gotta get these. We're also gonna move, since we don't really have too much more these guys can do, we're gonna go up and try to maybe take these. We're gonna move this army up here. Oh, okay. These guys are going here, and then they're gonna slowly make their way up. Or, yeah, because I'm gonna want to put some troops up here so that we don't get attacked by the birds. Okay, I think that's about it for this turn. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the next turn, which will be the last turn for this episode. It's turn 12. It's not a repeat, which it's not. So Marion is expanding much better than me now. He found a gap where people hadn't expanded. Unfortunately, it's like really hard for him to get troops down there, but he's got his troops there, and he's gonna take it. He's attacking here also, which is nice. Yeah. So he's kind of efficiently divided up his troops, and he's taken this one. Where's his other battle? Over here. Now, I probably wouldn't have done this. I don't think this is kind of territory he can defend at all. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 5 moves from his capital. Maybe 4 if you count these two as 1, since they're on plains. Gonna be hard, but anyway, he's getting income from it at least, and this is pretty high income. So, maybe he moves here. For me, I would have probably just cordoned off this area, and maybe some of this. This is a pretty good pickup, because it's kind of a choke point. People attacking from down here and from here. So that's good. We are making up some lost time. Did I watch all that? Did we have any battles? Oh, we didn't have any battles because, hey, we expanded really well. The other problem about the less you expand, you can get kind of pinned in to a few provinces. If you have a lot of provinces, in some ways it's more likely that one of your provinces has a way to expand out, but we're not really like that. and then we're wasting a lot of turns. Like, we had to move from here to here last turn, and we're taking another turn to move here. So, anyway, it's not very good. Anyway, we'll come up here. And then we'll come over here. Yeah. This guy who got up here, we're going to set him to preaching, because one of the things you need to think about when you have, when you go scales, is you don't have an awake god, so he's not expanding your scales. And if you're in a disciples game, you don't have a disciple, or I mean, you don't have a prophet just expanding your scale. So scale expansion is pretty slow. You can see it's like mostly clustered around my base. So you actually have to focus on spreading your dominion more. So I'm going to be doing a preacher here, and then I'm probably going to send one up here to start preaching this, since it's a high-income province that I want to have my scales in. Putting a temple up will help too. So anyway, we are going to, when we can, try to get our scales spread out a little bit. Yeah, and we're getting to the point, like, my expansion's done. We need to start thinking about who we're going to attack. We've been talking... We had told Nazca and Miklin that we were going to, like, come and attack these guys. I think we said on turn 13, which would be next turn. And it's not a horrible idea. They said they're going to go ahead and attack them regardless of whether we do, and regardless of what time we do. Satis has too much, so basically I'm going to talk with Nuclear Monkey, who's Satis, and tell him, like, hey, we're going to try to take some of the... We need to get a little bigger, like, you're way up here in our stuff, like, this... If you give us this, then, like, we can be peace, because I would rather... On one hand, I do not want to fight the birds. I hate fighting birds. I especially hate fighting the birds early. But basically, I'm going to see how congenial they are to giving me some land, and that if they give me that land, then potentially we can be allies against the birds. Because the problem fighting with birds as your allies is they're going to take, like, let's say we fight Pan and Satis, and the alliance of us plus Sai and his disciple, let's say we win and we kill these guys. Because they're flying, and because they're bigger than us to start with, they're going to have way more... They're going to get like 80% of all the profits, and we're going to get 20. And then they're probably going to go and attack us right away, unless we can talk Ulm and Ashdod into attacking them. So it's going to be pretty bad. I would much rather fight... these guys with them, and it'll be like a grind, but if we win, we'll get a larger portion of the parts we win, because these guys aren't particularly fast expanding. I mean, Pangea has Stealthy Raider, so he could kind of get a lot if he plays it well, but it'll be a more equal share, and then we won't be feeding into this horrible machine of blessed scariness. I mean, if you look at it too, these guys have, I don't think we've talked about it, they have Regeneration and Blood Vengeance on their bless, so pretty good against these flyers. Well, kind of good. I think it's somewhat of a counter. But it's not the kind of thing that scales, because they're largely, this is an assassin nation, and their assassins don't really benefit from the bless. And Satis is a nation that likes scales, but they went for a pretty heavy bless, so they're not really getting the benefit. And Pan, I mean, Pan is pretty good with a good bless, but their sacred units are cap only. So I mean, they have dryads, which it's not a great dryad bless. So anyway, these guys are kind of going to fall off as they get bigger. Meanwhile, Miklin scales basically indefinitely. The more territory they get, the more income they get, the more of their sacreds they can recruit with their ridiculous bless. In Nazca, they've got their little air factory making condors. A lot of their sacreds are cap only, but they can make the condors, and then they get the sapayas later. Excuse me. So, these guys are just... Part of it is just because they have a much better build. They're just terrifying. So the idea of helping them fight these guys is kind of... On one hand, we need to be in a 2v1 to get more land. So originally I was thinking, yeah, let's attack these guys because it will be easy. But I think these guys are already about to start attacking, so I'm already having like some second thoughts about helping these guys at all. If anything, we should probably be turning against them. But anyway, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna let these guys go ahead and attack, and then we'll see how it goes. If these guys are totally crumbling, then we'll probably jump on the bandwagon and just try to kill them and scrape out what we can. But if these guys mount like a solid defense and aren't immediately dying, then yeah, then we're probably gonna come to their aid and go kill these guys with them. Even though, God help us, we'll probably lose even 4v2. So yeah, not really much more expansion we can do. We're going to try to negotiate to take this, and we're going to get our infrastructure set up. One thing too, which is kind of cool, I'm just noticing this, is these crystal priestesses are astral, or have a 50% chance to be astral. What that means is that they can enter Holy Communion. So they can I can take 4 of my yogis plus 1 of these priests, which 50% of them will be astral, and these guys can become communion masters and do divine bless, which is really, really good because I'm a nation that has recruit everywhere sacreds, but I don't have anything above a holy 1, and I have no way to get my priests into communions easily without like a crystal matrix. So that is it. Thank you all for watching. And wish us luck, because we are going to need a shit ton of it. Though the next couple episodes probably won't be too eventful since the expansion's over and we're not at war yet. But anyway, tune in. See you next time.